What's up, people? I'm back, and I'm of course here to teach you how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, we're not really going to go into how to play the game, we're going to go into basic rules of the game. So, with that being said, let's start with this. This is your main deck. You're allowed 40 to 60 cards in your deck. It used to be 40 to 80, but they thought that it was too much, so they lowered it to 60. No less than 40, no more than 60. And this is your extra deck. You don't need an extra deck, but I highly recommend that you have one. Almost every duelist out there has one, so I highly recommend that you have one. If you do want an extra deck, you can have no more than 15 monsters. An extra deck is meant for your fusion monsters, synchro monsters, and Xyz monsters. Like you can see here, here's an Xyz monster. But we'll get to an Xyz monster in the following episodes. So, now, let's go into how the field looks. This is your monster card zone. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monster card zones. Same thing for your spell and trap card zone. This is where your monster cards go, and this is where your spell and trap cards go. Right behind them. 5 for each. And this, like I previously said, is your field spell zone. This is where your field spells go. This is your graveyard. This is where cards go after they've been used or destroyed. And right behind it is your main deck. This is where your main deck goes. And now, here is where your extra deck goes. Right behind your field spell card zone. And now, let's say a fresh duel just started. So each player has to draw 5 cards from their deck. So, each player has 5 cards in their hand, and they're ready to go. Now, say it's your turn. You draw 1 card, which is your draw phase. During the draw phase, you draw 1 card, no more than 1. And now it's the standby phase. During the standby phase, not much happens. The standby phase is meant strictly for cards that take place during the standby phase. But if there are no cards that allow that, then nothing happens during the standby phase. So, now it's your main phase 1. During the main phase 1, this is where you do stuff like summon monsters, play spells, set traps, things like that. And now, let's say you're done during your main phase 1. You are allowed 2 main phases, but we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. So, after your main phase 1 is the battle phase. This is where all the action takes place. So, let's say I have my Gem Knight Sardonyx here on the field. It's my battle phase, so he's ready to fight. Now, during the very first turn of the duel, there is no battle phase. Because during the very first turn of the duel, if you're allowed to attack your opponent on your very first turn, that would just be considered really cheap, and it would get too easy of a head start. So, after the very first turn of the duel, that's when battle phases can take place. And now, so, let's say I'm a Gem Knight Sardonyx on the field, it's the battle phase, and he's ready to fight. You just declare that he's attacking and who he is attacking. After that is your main phase 2. This is where you can play spells or set traps at the last minute. So, after that is your end phase. Then it's your opponent's turn, and your opponent does the same thing. Draw phase draws the card, standby phase, see if there's an effect he can play. Main phase 1, set spells, set traps, summon monsters, all that stuff. Now, let's say it's his turn and he destroys your monster. When he destroys your monster, it goes to the graveyard, which is right here. So, that's where cards go where they're destroyed, or after they've been used. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say I use the spell like Super Polymerization. I play its effect, and then after that, it goes to the graveyard, because it's already served its purpose. So, and the same thing for a trap. It's face down, you activate it, it does its thing, send it to the graveyard, because it's already served its purpose, it played its effect, and everything. Now, I believe that is it. And now, in the next episode, we're going to go more in depth into your extra deck, which is your fusion monsters, synchro monsters, and Xyz monsters. I'm going to teach you how to fusion summon, synchro summon, and Xyz summon. So this is where your extra deck can really come in handy if you have one. Like I said, I highly recommend you have one, but if you don't want one, fine, that's up to you. So, until then, later.